Welcome everyone to our final RISE Rights in Action series during National Crime Victims' Rights Week. I cannot believe we have made it to the end of the week. My name is Jennifer Storm. I am the Strategic Partnership and Outreach Consultant for the National Crime Victim Law Institute. And this is our final day. We've been hosting a series of conversations during National Crime Victims' Rights Week, just to really talk about activating and elevating victims' rights, right? National Crime Victims' Rights Week is this week that we set aside to acknowledge victims' rights, to acknowledge the field and the great work that they're doing, and to really talk about how do we engage meaningfully victims' rights every day in the work that we do, whether you're an attorney, whether you're an allied professional, whether you're an advocate. So we've spent this week traveling across the country, and it has been incredible. We have talked to so many of our phenomenal legal partners across the country who are partnered with NCLVI in some way and who have sought technical assistance from us. So a lot of folks don't know that the National Crime Victim Law Institute, we provide a lot of training and a lot of resources, but one of the areas where we really shine is in technical assistance. And all you have to do is go to our website, fill out a form, and we will figure out a way to help you. The staff of NCVLI, the attorneys, the thought leaders there have so many resources at their fingertips. They can help you draft motions. They can help you create arguments. They can help you with anything you're struggling with. If they can't help you, they'll find the answers for you. So please know that technical assistance is there for you. It is at no cost. It is provided by the great funding that we have at the federal government from the Office of Violence Against Women and the Office of Victims of Crime, and through our RISE clinics. So we have these amazing RISE clinics all over the country. Today we're traveling to Michigan. So we've got Johnanna Kononen with us. So hi, Johanna, how are you?
Hi, hello. Yes, my name is Johanna Kononen. I am the supervising attorney of the Survivor Law Clinic, which is one of NCVLI's RISE projects, and we are part of the Michigan Coalition to End Domestic and Sexual Violence.
And you're doing incredible work there. So thank you so much. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some technical assistance that you sought from NCVLI around the right to be present and around the right to appear, just to have that basic fundamental ability to be in the courtroom. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. So this has been a really exciting project for us here in Michigan. Michigan has crime victim rights by statute and in the Michigan Constitution. And they've been around since the mid-'80s. But what's been tricky about it is that while those rights have existed, no one has really done very much about them, and except for piecemeal a little bit throughout the state, one attorney at a time, or the Michigan Coalition doing one thing at a time until this RISE project. And so this is, a statewide initiative. We accept cases throughout the state representing crime victims in the criminal matter. And that is really a brand new thing here in Michigan. And so we kind of have a mixed bag of responses from courts, from prosecutors, from defense attorneys being like,
Sure.
Why are you here? What is this?
Who are you?
And so really, we are kind of starting at the ground level, like you talked about, with the right to appear and the right to be present. And that is really the most basic right of a victim. And what we sought some help from NCVLI in one of our cases where we had filed an appearance on behalf of a victim. We appeared, at a few things, no problem. And then the defense objected to our appearance and asked the court to boot us, essentially. And they did. And we think they were wrong. And we hope that we maintain that they were wrong. But I would like to encourage folks around the country. I know that there are a lot of places that don't have specific standing, and we don't here in Michigan either. But I don't want people to be discouraged about that. There are ways to argue those things, and we have often analogized it to the ability of any other subpoenaed witness in a criminal matter is allowed to appear via the attorney of their choosing. And, another non-party, like for example, a newspaper, can appear in a criminal matter, asserting their First Amendment right to be present and have access to things, and they can do that via an attorney. And so, we're really trying to make that basic argument that crime victims shouldn't be treated any differently, especially where they have as much of an interest as anyone, right? I mean, their very victimization is the reason that the case exists at all. So that's a really long way to get to your point of that we then filed an appeal from the district court, which is the lowest courts in Michigan, to the circuit court. We were denied, they affirmed the lower court's decision and said that we could not appear. And then we filed an application for leave to appeal with the Michigan Court of Appeals. And that's where we really got some assistance from NCVLI.
Awesome. So, I mean, I think it's kind of obvious, but what's at stake for the survivor when the court says, nope, sorry, you can't even be here or have representation of your own in your own case?
Yeah, it's very disheartening, right? And I think that oftentimes, I think a lot of people can relate to this. Survivors and victims everyone is really concerned in the criminal matter about the defendant's constitutional rights, as well they should be, right? But crime victims' rights are directly tied to those criminal proceedings as well. And part of what we are trying to argue and make people aware of and really normalize the appearance of a crime victim with an attorney on their own behalf is that those rights run parallel to each other. And when they cross, that's exactly what the court is there for, right? That's the judge's job, to weigh rights against each other and make a determination. That shouldn't preclude a victim from appearing, because maybe hypothetically in the future, there could be an issue that could impact a defendant.
No, absolutely. So talk about, what did technical assistance provide for you? How was NCVLI able to kind of come in and help you and resource you?
Okay, well, it was actually, it was really fun to work with them, actually, because they're brilliant and provide a lot of different perspectives, right? Because they have been working on this for so long and around the country. So we started off, having like a meeting with them and talking through what our arguments were going to be. And they would give us, some ideas like, well, have you considered this? Have you considered this? Once we wrote our application for leave to appeal with the brief, which, is like a big brief, all sorts of stuff. They even provided some editing assistance for us. We sent it to them. They gave us, some notes where we made, we accepted some changes and we're like, oh, that's not quite how we want to go on others. But then once it was filed, this was the biggest thing and something that was really special. I think in this case, they even filed a motion to file an amicus brief. So they filed a brief in support of our argument in the Michigan Court of Appeals as well. And that was such a cool experience. And it was really nice to have that supporting documentation from them.
Yeah, I think people don't realize that NCVLI is this incredibly well-respected national organization that can put their name to your arguments and help in that really simple way of just filing amicus, right? And how important that is. So I'm really excited that the assistance you got was helpful. What advice, Johanna, would you give a survivor or an advocate or somebody in a similar state, right? Like, I'm in Pennsylvania, and one of the arguments we hear all the time is, well, we don't even have standing, so don't even bother to elevate or challenge your rights in court. What advice would you give folks to kind of say, no, you need to do that?
That's exactly what I say. I say, just do it. Like, we aren't going to make these changes. We're not going to normalize these appearances and make, courts recognize this until we keep appearing. So I just say, just appear and appear and appear. And sometimes it's not going to work out. And sometimes it is, if that's what's been really cool and really interesting here in Michigan is we have had successes and failures throughout the state, even within the same county in different courts, where the judge and the prosecution and the defense will just be like, all right, and then we're a part of the case. And then others where everyone is like, no, thank you. So, and then, depending on our clients' wants and needs and their desires for how to proceed, we have, where it's been appropriate and where we can make a good argument, we have appealed where necessary. And so, I would encourage folks to really go for it. Let's do it, make the court decide. And I think that there are a lot of creative ways that you can make the argument, even if you don't have explicit standing in your local statutes.
So true. I hope everyone out there hears that. And so any other tips that you think are important to share with the community at large about how do you go about doing that? Like, what if you're a program or an organization that's just never done it? Where do you turn? What do you do?
Well, the best place to turn is NCVLI. They are so willing to help. They even have like a specialized email where it's like, help at yeah, whatever, and they are willing to help you. But also, it depending on where you live or what sort of victim or survivor you're dealing with, there might be an organization, a legal aid, a domestic violence or sexual assault organization in your community that has people who are working on these sort of things. So I would really encourage people to look to your local resources and brainstorm with other people who would love to go over this stuff with you and figure out how we can better support victims throughout the criminal justice process.
No, that's a great tip. Well, Johanna, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing in Michigan and for constantly pushing the needle. You're making a difference. And it's just incredible to have you here today. So tell folks if they want to find you or they want to find your law clinic and access your services, where can they go?
Yeah. All right. As I mentioned before, we are part of the Michigan Coalition to End Domestic and Sexual Violence. So please check us out. It's ncedsv.org. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram, and it's just at mcedsv. There is a survivor law portion of our website. You can also reach out to our clinic at slc@mcedsv.org. That stands for Survivor Law Clinic. And so I would love to hear from you. If people want to brainstorm, I'm open to it. Like it's fun.
I love that idea. Thank you. And we're going to put all these resources below this video. So thank you, first of all, Johanna, again, so much for joining us. And thank you for tuning in almost every day this week. Like I said, we took a break yesterday because we traveled all over the country doing a great CLE. One of the other things that NCVLI does is we host trainings. So please know that our annual conference is coming up. It's going to be in November. If you are interested in presenting or you want to learn more about the conference or any other trainings that we provide, go over to ncvli.org and learn more. We are hoping to be in person in November. We shall see. But regardless, we are constantly doing online trainings. And this concludes at least this series, but we believe we will be back here and we would love your input, your feedback. If there's other topics that you would like to hear about, please let us know. You can contact us through our Facebook page and let us know what you want to learn about, what you want to hear about, and we'll keep this conversation going. Until then, I hope you've had a safe and productive National Crime Victims' Rights Week. I cannot believe it's already over, but we will see you again very soon on this page. Stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you.